Green was given multiple opportunities to stand down, to sit down, to behave, to show decorum, and he did not.
While speaking on the Trump propaganda network, Real America's Voice, Representative Lauren Boebert, unlike her performance at the live production of Beetlejuice months ago, gave the audience exactly what they wanted to see and hear by not even trying to hide her racism directed toward her co-worker, Texas Congressman Al Green.
And for him to go and shake his pimp cane at President Trump was absolutely abhorrent.
We'd say that launching racist attacks against your colleagues is abhorrent, especially when said colleague is protesting your party's plans to gut Medicaid, one of the most important and literal life-saving social spending programs that millions of Americans depend on for survival, which just so happens to include tens of thousands of your constituents in Colorado, Lauren. But as you should know, this is exactly what we expect out of Boebert and her ilk.
And we get in the elevator, and I see a Capitol police officer running hurriedly to the elevator. I see fret all over his face. And he's reaching, and I'm like, what? I can't, the door's shutting. Like, I can't open it. Like, what's happening? I look to my left, and there she is. Ilhan Omar. Oops. And I said, well, she doesn't have a backpack. We should be fine. So we only had one floor to go, and I was like, do I say it? Do I not? I looked over, and I said, oh, look. The Jihad Squad decided to show up for work today.
We have serious issues with a terrorist that is a member of Congress. She praises terrorists, and she married her brother husband, as I pointed out, and then her other husband, she contributed, she gave more than $1 million of campaign funds to. I think there's a couple other bookend husbands that go in there too, and then she wants to call me out on my marriage and my family. But hey, Dan, I just want to make it very clear. At least my family tree forks.
Well,
just from this small sampling of her long documented history of using racist stereotypes to attack Democrat colleagues, you could tell she has a deep-seated hatred of anyone who doesn't adhere to her narrow-minded, bigoted worldview, just like this washed-up, hateful clown. Hey guys, quick break in the action. I have a new show coming out called The Rick Strom Show. It is going to be awesome. I'm interviewing musicians, athletes, producers, writers, journalists, authors, sports doctors. Go check it out at youtube.com/@TheRickStromShow. Also, be sure to throw me a follow on Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. It can all be found in the description box below. Thank you.
Look at this guy. So he doesn't want to secure, the Democrats don't want to secure the borders. The Democrats want to keep the borders open to welcome in chemical warfare, fentanyl, murder, slaughter of Americans through the Mexican drug cartel government to kill American citizens. And Al Green is the leader of the Democrat Party, along with Hakeem and the squad.
The laughable claim about progressives running the Democratic Party aside, Ted Nugent went full-blown white supremacist here by spewing great replacement conspiracy talking points while mirroring Boebert's racism on the same network, cynically using Green's protest against Trump's assertion that he has a mandate to gut Medicaid to fearmonger about immigrants and slyly justify Trump's hardline white natives' attitudes towards immigrants.
The members of the squad are Islamic terrorists doing undercover work in America. Look, these people hate a secure America. That's what the squad wants. The squad wants an open border. The squad wants dead Americans. And the Democrat Party, as represented by the squad, they want fentanyl through our open borders and murderers and torturers and MS-13 and gangs and mental institution releases into America. That's what the Democrat Party stands for.
Nugent, like far too many of our fellow Americans, is living in a world completely detached from reality, driven by solely fear, bigotry, and a complete false narrative about the current and future states of life in America. But as you know by now, the truth always takes a back seat whenever there's money and power to be gained.
Don Lewis and I were friends, And we talked about this notion of peaceful protest. And a part of it is not just getting in the way, as he put it. You have to get in the way. You have to be disruptive. People are not going to like you, some. But when you do this, you have to also be prepared to suffer the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
So when I did it, I was prepared to suffer the consequences, and I'm prepared now. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to like the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
You can be prepared to suffer things that you don't agree with. I don't agree with what happened, but I was prepared to suffer because Medicaid means so much to so many people.
This is what being an elected public servant should be about, not enriching yourself by selling yourself out to corporations and lobbyists working against the material interests of the average voter, or leveraging your power for networking to secure a cushy private sector job once your term is up, but taking a stand and speaking out to defend the interests of the people who elected you to represent them.
1 in every 5 persons with insurance in this country is covered by virtue of Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
And if we lose Medicaid, we're going to lose lives. The president, by and through his agents in Congress, has issued a mandate, we passed legislation, to cut $880 billion from the committee that has jurisdiction over Medicaid. You cannot do that. You cannot do that without cutting into Medicaid. And if you do that, you're going to hurt a lot of people that I represent. So I'm standing for them because they can't stand for themselves, understanding that they need this health care. I would do it again. I will suffer the consequences. And if my being evicted can make a difference in the lives of those people who need Medicaid, Social Security, and Medicare, I would do it. The state of Texas.
This is exactly why it was so disappointing to see 10 Democrats cave to their Republican colleagues by voting to censure Representative Green. We need so many more fighters willing to do the bare minimum and bring attention to the real world effects of Donald Trump and shadow President Elon Musk's gutting of the administrative state. And anyone who doesn't recognize the dire situation we're all in might as well join the Republicans in doing Trump's bidding without question.
Medicaid is needed by people who are not of means. We now live in a government that is of the plutocrats, by the plutocrats, for the plutocrats. They have Medicaid, they have doctors. We have to stand for people who are not as fortunate as others. I have good health care. I want my constituents to have the same health care I have. Many won't have it, but I'm going to protect what they do have. We've got to take a stand against what this president is doing with his incivility. We're going to have to demonstrate. We're going to have to protest. I don't want us to have to hearken back to the 60s, but we are being treated as though we are in the 60s. We have to do more than simply say that we want legislation. We've got to demonstrate, and we've got to protest and be prepared to suffer the consequences.
In a world full of Donald Trumps, Lauren Boeberts, Ted Nugents, and Elon Musks, be more like Representative from Texas, Al Green. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.